that's, I think that everything is going well, and yes, we are definitely live. Uh, oh, that's pretty cool. Okay, so I'm here to talk about today something that is really, in my view, really important for the many years of martial arts and specifically uh, karate, Krav Maga, BJJ, some pieces of judo, but our main focus is teaching people how to defend themselves with the framework of Krav Maga. Krav Maga is a self-defense system. Some folks call it a martial art. That's a different discussion, but today we're going to talk about one of my passionate themes, that is sparring. And what does that mean? So really important, guys, at any time in here, um, at any time in here, if you have a question, just hit down in the chat. I've got a set, of course, pre-planned questions that just came in from folks, right? That come in from. I consider if there is. Okay, cool. We can see any live chat questions as you join, as you come in. So today, to be fair, today will be sparring day at Self-Defense for All. So we have one day where everyone needs to spar. There are multiple levels of what this sparring means, and I want to break this down. Okay, I want to break down into, I would say, many of the questions that people have, and how do we do this in a safe manner? Okay, there is this trend. I've seen some comments on, okay, when you come into the city, one of the questions that I have, especially from sometimes older adults, no, from everyone, is like, will I get hurt? See what I mean? Like, that's a really good question, right? People ask me, do I get hurt? Why do we spar? That's the second question. What's the point? And I will go through all of those in the most possible detail so that you know what you're getting into, or at least you have a good idea of what are I'm going to say, the rules or the principles behind this. Okay, so let's start. Do I get hurt? Isn't that the question, right? If someone is throwing a shot at you, and that probably needs to be defined. We train in here with what's called safety first. Very clear, okay? Sparring in our place in here is about control, not complete chaos. Okay, you might say, oh, but the reality is full of chaos, is full of people throwing shots around, you know what they are coming from. Yes, that's true. And with time we'll go through more chaotic measures, and to be fair, they're not fully chaotic, okay? I think that's an exaggeration. But it's like someone throws a lead hand shot, a circular punch, a grab and a punch. Those are things that can be done. Now, how do we do that? And this is something that I've been working, I'm going to say, me and the instructors in here, we've been working hard to make sure that the practice is safe. In your first 6 weeks, most likely, I'm going to say most likely, there will be no shots to the head. There will be people who try to touch your shoulders with the jab, for example, with a touch inside the shoulder, or a touch inside at the chest level, or at the other shoulder. Why? Let's see this from the mechanical point of view. Okay, we'll just switch cameras so that you can review on this. Oh, you can turn off cameras while recording, but can I shift cameras? Huh. I thought I could shift cameras, but that's something that... Oh, I cannot have. Okay, that's fine. It works the same way. So, I'll go on. The moment, think about this, if someone is touching in here, See, if somebody's touching with the open palm in here, see the alignment with the head? It's like you are being trained, the hand is coming, the moment you defend, and if he touches in here, you know that if you got touched in here, that means you could have been touched in the head. So whenever you train like this, whenever you throw your hand and you throw these or you throw these with the full extension of the shot, and you get touched at the chest level or at the shoulder level, man, there is a very good alignment for that to have been a shot to the head. And if you are ignoring that as a practitioner, then most likely your defense doesn't work. Same thing. So how do we cover the problem of the punches to the head? If you call it 360, but it's a parry, it's a block. Let's call it a block, okay? So bring the hand up, and again, the same idea. He's going to throw at the level that you can comprehend. Okay, so being clear with this, we do it in the most safety first method, okay? Again, light contact with gloves, really, really important, and respect. The goal is definitely learning and not getting yourself hurt. We also have another rule, and this is mostly for the sparring class, okay? Mostly for the sparring class in the intermediate and advanced levels. That is, you signal, and I learned this from Antonio Oliva. He's already dead. He was a phenomenal karate coach, probably the best in the world from a competitive perspective. We have a rule that is called the thumb rule. That is, you signal where you are at that moment, okay? Or the hand rule, it doesn't matter. It's going to work the same way. You see, what I mean by this, look, if you are like this, fully up, you're saying to your partner, we are all go. We are good to go. We can go intense. We could go strong. If you're around here like, I'm okay to do around, I'm okay to move around, go 50%. But if you are here, like I know I'm really tired, you go really, really light. So in a second you can tell your partner without using words like, hey man, let's start in here. My view is that where you feel, you put one level more up, got it? So that you can get always that, I'm gonna say that, it's a bit like what we feel and what we can really be capable of. And since in here, you'll see us in our training shirt saying train, grow, and protect. And the grow comes in the middle, okay? Comes because you train. So that growth phase, it's by definition, by result of, okay, it's hard, I'm tired, but I can do more. Okay, I hope that makes sense to you. Again, controlled, really controlled, but always with respect, okay? The goal, it's definitely learning, okay guys? When you start doing these things, your goal is to learn how to defend yourself. Now, big question, is there contact to the head? Yes, later on, okay? In Krav Maga sparring, of course, we need to defend against a strike to the head. You're gonna start with an introduction where there is limited or almost no contact to the head. We kind of change even the strikes to be not going a straight line, going with the palm. Of course, accidents can always happen. You do need to experience attack at the head level. That's really important. In that way, you will build, as you build the ability to defend or to duck under or to block and counter, depending of the solution that you have for that, you are starting to say, okay, I can do this because I'm testing it over and over and over again, over multiple repetitions in different scenarios with tremendous variability. What do I mean by tremendous variability is that if you think about, I hope the camera goes, if you think that you are training from here, someone approaches you from the front, you might be coming from the side, you need to get that defense. We get the defense from here, or that direction, stepping back, stepping forward. So it's important to defend against whatever is the attack to the head with differently. Even, of course, obviously, when you are seated, right? You are seated, and imagine you are sitting in the park, someone throws a hand, we need to have something like this, or wave it, or clinch in, or any of the variations except what was called, again by one of my trainers, that was don't defend with the head, okay? Sometimes you guys in boxing, they have a good shin. Look, don't do that. Don't defend with your head. It's really not nice, okay? It's something that doesn't work. Because you get hurt, and if you get knocked out in your head, it's definitely not something good. So don't defend with the head, really good idea. What I mean by don't defend, don't put your head against a fist or a palm, okay, or a kick, independent of what it is. Now, why do we need sparring? Look, without resistance, and in here we can call it progressive resistance, without that, you don't know if whatever you are training works. Sparring is kind of bridge between theory, and today I had a very interesting call with a prospect, and he told me that he doesn't want to do kata. Kata is kata, or katas in Portuguese, or kata. Kata is in its inception, it's from the Japanese martial art of karate. It's an imaginary, a real fight against imaginary adversaries. Is what you see some of in boxing would be shadow boxing. I don't think there is a, I don't know about if wrestling has something like that, but probably when you do drills by yourself with no partner, it's something like that. So you want to test your theory in practice. And I've had this many times, okay? When we do exams in here, and exams always have a component of sparring, you come up with a plan, right? And then when you start, okay, this guy's coming to train with me, the punch is coming, I am going to do this or that, or he's going to grab. Just the fact that you're putting yourself to that test scenario, and it does something completely different, just changes the way that you approach this. So sparring is definitely this bridge that looks into your emotions, your technique, and your capability to do things. I've had, during my career as in karate and doing Krav Maga, many folks that were, I'm going to say, technically not gifted, but they had tremendous intelligence when they were sparring. Tremendous. Like, they would get out, get in. Now, and I want to segue into the next part. What does sparring means for Krav Maga? Krav Maga is about self-defense. So it's not about the sport of fighting. The question is, the sport of fighting informs the solutions for Krav Maga. We cannot get out of there. Like, if you see UFC, if you see BJJ tournaments, karate tournaments, there are people effectively doing gestures that are similar to the ones that you see on a street scenario, on a one-on-one confrontation or a one versus many. We are not going to, there is something more that we can dig in regarding what if he, or if it's more than one opponent, if the person is obviously capable, but what if there are guns involved, a gun or a knife. Those are different scenarios. I'm going to still talking about one person versus another person, or potentially against others. I think that's very interesting. We need to learn timing, distance, and how to react under that pressure. And testing yourself to defend in there. That's why my view, guys, I've talked with other people that also talk about Krav Maga, is that there should be no sparring in Krav Maga. And I get it. I can absolutely get it. Why should you spar if in the first second, if someone throws a shot, you go whoop, you go in. Or you cover and you are able to go and hit the groin and pull him back, or you're going to take his back. There's no sparring, right? There's an action, you identified what's happening, you tell your brain, oh, I got this solution, whatever it is, and you make it happen, and you are successful. That's right, okay? That's cool, right? Okay, that's theory, okay? That's like, this is what it should happen if everything goes well. What when it doesn't go well? Why? It just means that you probably are off angle, or at that day you ate a little bit more, or you didn't sleep as much, or whatever. Or there is a huge emotional background behind, or you're just not, you didn't get it. You got out of time. And that's when it comes from one attack to multiple attacks. And then there's a fight happening. There's people transacting blows and grabs and everything. So that's something that we need to train, and that's why we use sparring as a tool to develop the way that you train. Does that make sense to you guys? So I hope it does, because it's like if we don't integrate sparring in training, it's something that I feel sometimes as a Portuguese. In Portugal, man, we are phenomenal. My view of the world, okay. I have an engineering degree and 2 master's degrees in other areas, but we are very good on planning. Everything many times does need to be perfect, but man, the implementation, it's really it's something. And why? Because from my cultural background, it's definitely important to have everything tight, everything. But sparring is about continuous testing. Got it? It's about, let's see if this thing that I was planning, that I was thinking, that I was given, does that thing works? What can I do with that? How can I learn? And that's why it's important that sparring rounds are progressive in the things that they show, so that you get to a certain path. What do I mean by that? When you start sparring, at least in here, okay, you start by what we call the head game. That is someone trying to touch your head. You don't start yet by when you strike. Okay, you start by, okay, I have to defend. But we do Krav Maga. And Krav Maga, in that sense, is, okay, I need to be able to strike back, or I need to be able to strike first. So we do that. That is, you have rounds where when you see a target, you have to intervene as fast as you can. You have to strike as fast as you can. You have to strike and put a takedown. What I mean by fast as you can is like you have to be able to decide under pressure in 5, 6 seconds, 8, so that you are able to leave that place. Sometimes it takes more time. And then over time, we'll integrate. Okay, now what if he fights back? Now, instead of strikes, they have kicks. Instead of grabs, strikes, you have pushes as well, and grabs. So it goes progressively into having you develop the skills that are required to defend yourself and others. I think that's really, really important. Another question that I get asked is, what is an effective round? Okay, look, I have a rule in here, but it does depend on your age, to be fair, and your group levels. The thing that doesn't depend is this. By default, any adult should be able to do at least 2-minute rounds with very intense bursts, where you are effective. That is either someone who holds a pad, or if you are in the sparring class, you can land a couple of good shots without being taken. Because that's what it relates to the objective of the task. That is, someone is throwing something at you, or in front, and you decide to attack, and you are effective. Okay. And then it's about, we did this last night, that is, what if I'm tired? How am I going to react to that? How do you get people tired, or do you get people aroused, or in a certain mental state? In here, since we don't swear, being clear, guys, when you come in here, I know in New Jersey people swear, but not after this door. So when you walk through this door over there, the rule in here, no swearing, okay? That's it. We put you with the heart pumping up. The reason why I'm saying this is independent if someone is swearing at you, or swearing around, or whatever, it's just words, okay? Just words. Don't get turned off or on with words. If there is physical, yes. So the way that we increase stress levels, it's by physical conditioning or technical conditioning. You could do like a set of strikes in the bag at a really huge intensity, and then you are faced with a partner that shows a pad or that pushes you, and you have to effectively throw the shots at the right locations. Okay. So that's how it looks like. It looks like a brawl, a controlled brawl, so that you know what it is, where you are able to land what was your objective. So here's here's something more that I would like you guys to think. Okay, I'm not gonna have the bag, but I'll be going into the standing position. It's a way to approach sparring, at least for the context of self-defense. It's to think that people do things with their hands, okay? People try to, I'm going to say, hurt others besides the words and all of the other things. We are not talking about that. I'm talking about, from a physical point of view, what do people do to others, okay? Most likely, most of the times, they try to hurt others with their hands, right? So your first job is, if you ever get approached, is that your hands go up around here, okay? Around here. So again, you see the jawline over here? Your hands are around that line. And they are not open, because if this is open, someone can throw a jab, okay? They're around there, like, hey, what's happening? And you got this position. So your leg, so you can see. Your legs are in this, I'm gonna say almost boxing position, but without showing. Like, hey, what's the problem? Stay in there. So you have your hands up enough so that you're able to protect your face, and if there is a cross coming in or a haymaker, I'm able to raise the hand, or you are able to step in. When you spar, I want to avoid this, okay? I want to avoid this because I'm going to say in the street, I'm going to use the term the street, okay? This could mean the following, that if there is some kind of object, there is a potential for a cut. That's what I've been told. It makes some sense. I feel more powerful when I have my hands over here. I feel more protected if the hands are hurt. So when you spar, I would say in here, you would adopt a very similar boxing stance. Your shin is down, the hands are up, like something that you can by default use. Hey man, I don't want any trouble, stay out of there. And this is initial beginning of potential confrontation. And you might say, hey, get out, stay there, or you are able to step in. But I would start from there. In the Krav Maga discipline, we are always taught, and I also teach this, that is to start training also from here. When your hands are down, and you need to defend from here. Now, this, in a way, it's interesting, because most of the times, you would be relaxed, right? The question that I pose, clear that we need to train from all positions, from here, striking, all of that, is that if you see someone coming, don't stand with your hands down. You're going to get hurt. Don't put your hands like that. I've seen this in other martial arts people. Oh, what does I am? Look, unless if the gun is close to you or the knife is close, everything that has to do with kinetic, right? Kinetics, okay? A punch, a shove, something like that. Bring your hands up. You do require to have distance. If you are too close or there's an object, we need to change that. Again, for the most common situations, just Google CCTV attacks on people and like, wailing or slapping or these type of things. Bring your hands up. It will help you. So think about this as your combat guard, but also your self-defense guard in a system from Burton Richardson. It's called the interviewer position. From here, in Krav Maga, I can call it the Krav Guard. I've seen it like this. It doesn't make any sense, whatever, because the center line is open. Bring the hands up. Don't leave it open like that. Don't leave it like this. Bring it around here and make sure that your shin is covered, okay? So that's one way to start training your self-defense. Yes, that guard is also possible. If I've seen the question over there, what do you do if he shoots for your legs? Guys, your hands are up, make F of a sprawl, put your shoulders over there, put your shoulders for arms, and work from there. Those are variations, but again, you need to have a guard. You need to have a thing that, hey, this is where I am, okay? I think that's really important as we move this along. Okay, in the more advanced classes, we do train sparring, and the sparring will have what's called active guards and passive guards. That's something that that we can talk in other podcasts and then even show examples. Think that a passive guard is like you are defending, you're trying to stop whatever it's coming, and an active guard, you put pressure. In terms of self-defense, does that make sense? I don't think it does much. What do I mean by this is, in a self-defense situation, the objective is to get out of there as fast as possible. But it's also interesting that you start looking like, what does that mean? Do I push? You might, in certain circumstances, might say, I just want to defend myself. I don't want to fight. I just want to get out of here. We need to weigh these circumstances. As a beginner, I wouldn't worry about what's coming next. I would worry most important about, okay, I don't want to get touched in the head. I want to be able to defend myself. And this is the way to not only ensure that I'm safe, but also that in many of the situations that I've seen, there are videos out there of people being standing from behind. This would be our hands up, guys, are important things that they protect your head. So let's make sure that that happens. What I believe is true is the truth is sparring teaches you more about yourself than any drill. That's just the reality. So I'm like, when you step in there and you are training with another partner and you're receiving feedback, you learn, guys. You walk away completely different and better and stronger every day. If you want to experience it, join us. We've got the 28 days challenge going out right now. DM the word ready in any of our social media and we'll set you up. That's really important. I want to repeat this again. Sparring in here, it's safe, controlled, and essential, okay? And that's the super important thing. Again, I'll repeat this again. Safe, controlled, and essential for your development as a person that is able to defend him or herself and protect others as well. If you need any more help, reach out. I had many questions that were coming from classes for us to talk about today, and I shall see you tomorrow.